Namaste. My name is Mika. Thank you for joining me for this Hatha Yoga. We have a few pregnant women in this session as well, so we'll be offering modifications if you're in that situation and you are aware that your body might need to be in a different position to a normal yoga pose. So I'll be offering that in this practice. I also have a chair. We'll be using a chair today, especially if you have weight in front of you, just to make sure that you don't fall over. You might want to grab a stool, or if you're near a chair's good. I'll just show you what we're going to do so you know that it's not just holding onto a wall. With a chair, when we're balancing, it's really nice to be able to come back and stretch with the chair. It allows you to support your weight through your shoulders if you are getting heavier in the front. So a chair is really good for this. And also, just in case we're doing different kinds of poses and we take a balance, that chair can be right there for you as well. So great props to have, great modification. We will be using the chair. And that's it. Glass of water, little sweat towel if you need it, maybe a pillow at the end of the practice. Like, grab your pillow and just get really comfy in our Shavasana and really unwind for a good night's sleep, or relaxing your nervous system for the day. So I have all my props in my living room, and they're good suggestions. So yeah, find what works for you. Let's start in a seated position, sitting a little taller in our posture and finding our sense of space and focus for our practice. Feel your sit bones. That's where your legs plug into the pelvis. Find that you can feel your butt bones or your sit bones in your mat. And then from there, lift up through your spine, imagining a cord pulling you up through the top of your head. And just relax your shoulders down, away from the ears, gently drawing them down towards the ground. Relax your hands on your thighs. Notice your breath as you breathe in and as you breathe out. And maybe gently close your eyes here, allowing that breath to flow in like the ocean and out like the waves. Maybe sighing it out through the mouth. Bringing ourselves into a sense of inner awareness as we hear that breath within. Maybe closing your eyes if you haven't done so already. And checking in with yourself. How do you feel? And what do you notice? What kind of nourishment do you want out of this practice for yourself? Are you testing the waters of your body? Are you looking to energize and strengthen? Or is it to find a sense of connection to who you are and how you are, how you're developing and how you're changing? Just checking in. Let's engage our Ujjayi breathing, that hot yogic breath. Like you're fogging a mirror, but keeping your mouth closed. It really works on the exhale. As you exhale, feel that breath kind of massaging the back of the nose and the throat cavity. That breath can massage the vagus nerve, which connects straight to your nervous system. So it's a really powerful response that you can create in the body with your breath. Just take a couple more breaths here on your own. Maybe taking a count with your breath as you lengthen and deepen the inhale, pausing at the top of your breath. And as you exhale, just pausing there before your next cycle. Relaxing your arms, relaxing your thighs. And just becoming aware of this space now. Take 2 more cycles of breath. controlling our prana, that life force that we cling on to live, that we can't see but we know that exists. Maybe invite thankfulness not just for this practice, but for our continual effort to grow and to keep healthy and to sustain ourselves. Gratefulness for you and for that focus. Compassion for yourself for that focus. And if you are controlling your breath, just release the count, release the control, return to natural breathing, using our Ujjayi breath, opening your eyes, feeling like you're back in the room. Let's invite some movement now. On your next inhale, reach up, feel a nice long stretch through the body. Maybe look up to the ceiling, embracing the day or the evening here. Exhale, take the right hand down and stretch and lengthen through the left side of the body. All the way from the hip. Keep your sit bone plugged into the mat. Maybe turn the chest open a little more if that feels good. Nice and gentle, continuing with that long, deep breath. Inhale, come back to center, reach up. And exhale to the other side. Opening the chest, looking towards the ceiling. And just knowing that in this practice, even though I instruct these poses, you don't have to extend yourself if it doesn't feel good. Notice those changes in the body and just sit there or come up a little more and adjust for yourself. Inhale, reach tall. Exhale, keep the sit bones in the mat. Take the hands down in front of you and fold forward. Noticing that stretch in the hips. And with your exhale, Ujjayi breathing, soften the torso and sink heavier, feeling that stretch. Inhale, halfway lift, just coming up onto the hands. Exhale, over to the right, fold over the right thigh. Breathe here. Inhale back to center, lift halfway. Exhale to the other side. On your inhale, come back to center and roll all the way up. Reach up, inhale, blossoming like a flower. Bring your hands to your heart center in Namaste. Relaxing here. Maybe even feeling your heart beating against your thumbs or your wrists there as you pause. And when you're ready, let's come to table pose or quadruped pose. Bringing ourselves with our knees under our hips and our hands or wrists under our shoulders. Nice wide fingers, relaxed ankles behind you. Drop the belly, push the shoulders away from the ears. Look up for a cow stretch. Invite a little bit of movement if it feels good to rock from side to side. Opening the spine, stretching through the abdominals, pushing the shoulders back. Exhale when you're ready, cat stretch, round the shoulders, tuck the chin. Again, I like to do a little wiggle in my torso here, just feeling my back opening with the flexion of the spine. Inhale, extend, look forward for cow. Exhale for cat on the breath, nice and slow. Enjoy the movement and feel those adjustments, checking in. What do you notice? Inhale for cow. And again, exhale for cat. Beautiful. Inhale just back to neutral spine. Let's extend the left leg back, point the toes down, put strength in that back leg like you're trying to push a flat foot against a wall behind you. At the same time, aiming to keep your hip points face down towards the ground. It's a balance here, so push up through the hands and draw your shoulders back away from the ears, plugging those shoulders into the shoulder joint. Feels more stable, and you'll engage all of these muscles to stabilize. Beautiful. Lift that heel a little higher if that feels okay. Option is to hold this pose or draw your left knee to the left elbow. As you do that, push up through your wrists to create space in this chest cavity area. That's protracting the shoulders, rounding them. Hold here, feel your shoulders turning on, and then exhale, take that leg back behind you. Good. Inhale here, lengthen the spine, and take the knee down to the mat. Feels good, feels good. Inhale, take the right leg out. Extend that back leg, feel strong like you're kicking a wall. Lengthen the spine. We want a nice long neutral spine, and plug the shoulders into the joint. Lift that heel a little higher on your inhale. Feel the strength. You can stay here, otherwise crunch the knee to the elbow and push up through the hands. Hold here and breathe. Ujjayi breath, heat through the body, focus the pose. On your inhale, extend that leg out straight and strong, and take the knee down. Great. Inhale, come up onto your knees, reach up to the ceiling just to get off our wrists, and just rotate your hands around, a little bit of strength through the hands. Nice. And then bring yourself back to table pose. Okay, we've got more options here. So your option is to do the same as before. So take the left leg back, and you'll be doing the crunch like this. So join me for a crunch, bring it in. Let's inhale, let's extend the leg. And on the breath, exhale, crunch. But I'm gonna extend this posture if you wanna work stronger. On your next exhale, crunch again. Inhale, extend. Take the knee down. Other side, we wanna even it up. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, crunch. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, crunch. Notice your hips moving, stretching, lengthening. Inhale, extend, and crunch on the exhale. Ujjayi breathing. Inhale, lengthen. Back to table pose. Now, on the left side, you can do the same thing, or join me for full plank. Feeling strong and strength. If you're in full plank, tuck your tailbone under. Otherwise, if you're on your knee, your leg is behind you, the left leg is up. So you have the option there to modify. If you're in full plank with me, hold here, push up through the hands, strengthening in the shoulders, and then lift the left leg. So we're essentially like doing it from our knee, but we're on our toes. When you're ready, on your exhale, crunch the knee to the elbow and push up through the hands. You want that lift to create the strength through the shoulders. Inhale, extend the leg. Exhale, crunch. Ooh, my shoulders are working. Inhale, extend. One more, exhale, crunch. Inhale, extend. And take both knees down. Inhale, reach up to the ceiling. Lengthen the spine. If it feels good to lean back a little bit, you can. And then exhale, come back to your hands. Other side, if you're on your knees, lift the right leg. Otherwise, come into full plank and lift the right leg from there. Three-legged plank. Inhale first. 3 of these. Exhale, crunch. Push up through the hands. Beautiful. Inhale. Exhale, crunch. Inhale, extend. Exhale, crunch. Inhale, and take the knees down. Sit back on your heels if that feels okay, or you can come onto the side on your bottom, whatever feels good. Bring your hands together, clasping them, and just rotate the wrists around. Oh, that was hard. I haven't done that for a while. Feeling my shoulders. So for you, bring your hands to your shoulders. I find this is the best way to get a little bit more mobility instead of, you see people warm up doing this, right? Feel it, come with me, do this. Ugh. And it's big and it's nice, but I always feel like I get to a certain point and the hinge is tight, right? You're like, oh, that's like pulling everything. So instead I bring my hands here. We call this shortening the lever, and you actually get a lot more rotation just by using your elbow length rather than all the way to the hand. And it just focuses on the shoulders. So swap direction. Breathe here. Like our little chicken wings. Oh, they really do look like chicken wings. Yeah, exactly. Love it. Thanks for enjoying my humor, guys. Again, I don't think we really rolled out the wrists either, so give them a little bit of a roll. And extend the hand out in front of you. Pull back gently on the fingers, stretch through the bottom of the wrist joint. Take the fingers down, stretching across the top. And swap over. Now in my playlist tonight, I'm gonna do a little push for Chris Coolmer, who's my husband. He's written a yoga track. It's called Floating, and it's in this playlist. So if you want to play the game, you have to see when it gets played and see if you recognize his music. Well, if you don't know his music, you won't know, but you can have a guess. So yeah, I'm really excited. He's just put it up on Spotify, so it's really beautiful. Okay, spiel done. I'll meet you in downward facing dog. So a good measurement is to come into a full plank. Even if you're pregnant, full plank for a little while is okay. And then on the exhale, push back into your downward dog. And that's a really good measurement for finding that distance between your hands and your feet. And just walk the dog. Walking your dog is pedaling one foot down, keeping the knee bent on the other side, feeling a deep stretch through the hamstring, and then swapping over. And I find a lot of people start to pedal when they're walking their dog, but take your time with it. Feel the length through the body as you push back through the hands. You want that external rotation of the arms. So you want your inner arms to come in and up to the sky. And as you push back, your shoulders are plugging into the shoulder joint away from the ears. Your tailbone lifts to the sky, nice and long through your spine. And your neck is loose and soft, kind of just hanging in line with your spine there, neutral. And then as you relax your heels and find stillness in your downward dog, the aim is not to get the heels to the ground, but to create length through the back of the legs, all the way from that sit bone, that hip joint, all the way down through those big long muscles. Breathe. And at any point that your downward dog feels fatiguing, stressful, you just take yourselves and come with me, everybody, down into Balasana or Child's Pose. So knees a little wider than your hips or as wide as the mat, and just sink down into Child's Pose, bringing your forehead to the mat. At any point in the practice, this is your safe spot. So join me here in Child's Pose. On your next exhale, take your torso over the right knee, stretch through your lower back as you fold over the right knee. Should feel really good. Enjoy your breath. Inhale back to center. Exhale to the other side. Inhale back to the center. Bring your hands out in front of you, stretch them long, wide fingers, and then come back to downward facing dog. Great. Option here is to hold your downward dog. Otherwise, you can bring your feet together, raise the right leg up so it's a three-legged dog. You don't have to do this as part of the practice. You can just hold the downward dog. Otherwise, lift the right leg up, stretching your toes towards the ceiling and spreading them wide. Want to engage all of those little muscles in the feet. So strengthen and lengthen that extended leg. Look to the hands, and as you come forward, if you're in downward dog, bring the right foot forward beside the inner right thumb. So we're lunging here. Now, if it feels like you don't have much space, that's okay. It could be helpful to come up onto your fingertips in the lunge, or if you have blocks. When you're ready, drop your back knee for low lunge, Anjayasana, and then bring your torso up into low lunge warrior. Support yourself with a 90-degree angle in the front leg. You want to lift up through that left hip. We're stretching up here, pulling up through the spine, look tall. My back toes are curled under because we're going to be active here. Keep yourself balanced. If you have a chair or a wall, you can use that. Otherwise, as you exhale, take your hands by your sides as you push up into a full lunge. We did this work last week, beautiful. Exhale, lift the hands up and drop the knee down to the floor. You can, of course, stay here. Otherwise, 2 more of these. Exhale, lift. Strengthen and straighten that back leg. And then on your exhale, yes, come down. I think it's inhale, actually. We're inhaling here. Exhale, lift. Beautiful. Inhale, come down. Exhale, come back to your lunge. Take the hands down to the mat and step back for either 3-legged dog or downward facing dog. Lift up. Exhale here. Inhale here. Exhale, bring that leg down if it was raised. Downward dog. Inhale, raise the other leg. Left leg comes to the sky, or you're breathing in Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog. Breathe here. Stretch that top leg tall. Spread the toes and push back through the hands. Remember that external rotation of the shoulders. In and up to the ceiling. And when you're ready, bring that left foot inside beside the left thumb. Lunge pose. And when you're ready, drop the back knee to low lunge. Set your lunge up, 90-degree angle, so your knee is over your ankle. Back toes are curled under. Inhale, Anjayasana or low lunge warrior. Lift. We're getting that stretch through the right hip flexor. So lift through there. Breathe. Create a sense of space and balance. Maybe find one place to focus on. On your exhale, lower the hands and push up through that back leg. Engage the glutes and the quads. Good. Inhale, lower. Nice and slow and controlled. Beautiful, everyone. Exhale, come up. It's the second one. Inhale, lower. Exhale, come up. Inhale, lower. And on your exhale, take your hands down to lunge. Step back to downward facing dog or 3-legged dog. And exhale, everyone joining in downward facing dog. Awesome. Take your knees wide as the mat, so a little wider this time, stretching into the groin. Push back into Balasana, child's pose. Okay, with this pose, it's up to you. We're going to stretch a little more in the spine and in the hips. We're going to come into a puppy pose. And again, depending the size of your pregnant belly, adjust yourself for what feels good. It could be a great option to have a pillow at this point, and just allow yourself, and I'll show you what I do in terms of this modification. So puppy pose is where we're planting our chest onto the mat. So instead of just using our arms, we come forward and our chest will plant. So I'm going to use the cushion and plant myself on the cushion. If you're not using the cushion, you're going to get much more extension in the spine as you land. And you'll get much more extension in the shoulders as you land your chest. Find your puppy pose now. Have a go. Breathe here. Try to relax your shoulders in the pose. And to get out of the pose, you just need to lift up a little and push yourself forward and land on your belly. So when you're ready, come out of puppy pose, land on your belly and find crocodile pose, which is a resting pose. Your feet are wider than your hips and your hands are in front of your face, and you just relax your face down and just relax your body, crocodile pose. If you can't come on your belly, I didn't think of that, then you can be resting on your side as you come out of that stretch. So you probably don't want to land all your weight just straight on your pregnant tummy. So you can adjust for that. So out of puppy pose, just roll onto your side. When you're ready, let's lift ourselves up and come back into Balasana, child's pose. And just breathe there for a moment. We're going to try that one more time. I'm going to add on a little bit more extension for yourself. A little bit more options here. So I'm going to land myself again if I'm using my cushion. And I'm showing you what I'm going to do with the back of my legs. So have a little watch. As we come forward, I'm going to land my chest and I'm going to lift my back feet up like a mermaid. So land and lift. And I lift and I point my toes together. And what this does is it tilts the pelvis posteriorly, and so you get a little bit more extension in the back. Hopefully you've got space here if you're pregnant, but of course you don't have to lift anything. It is sharp on your knees. If you're in full puppy pose, this isn't a strong pose. Coming down and breathing here. Take your puppy pose when you're ready. And then come out of it, either roll onto your side or come into crocodile pose. What you might notice is, if you're not used to doing back extensions, that your back starts to feel tingly or a little bit like a quick ache. Don't stress. That is like fresh blood flowing back down into your spine, and also new muscles doing something that you might not have really done before. So just feel that and breathe into it, allowing your body to calm. And when you're ready, come back to Balasana or child's pose. With that adjustment, you might also notice it's a counter stretch. So instead of extending, this is the extension. Right now we're flexing the spine, and so it's a great way to kind of start to stretch and lengthen your spine here. Spinal health. When you're ready, bring yourself up onto your knees, coming into our yogi squat. If you have the cushion or something like that, I think most people at home have cushions. So if you're in a yogi squat, you're bringing yourself onto your toes and allowing the heels to relax. But having a cushion there might allow you to feel a little bit more supported in your squat. So you can totally take that prop. Otherwise, we're aiming to bring our heels down onto the mat and start to lengthen and balance here, bringing our hands in and sitting taller in your spine. Rather than like trying to squat and balance, adjust yourself by coming onto your toes, finding length in your spine. That's fine if you're happy balancing there, or giving that prop just to assist you under your heels. Breathe. And when you feel okay, take your hands behind you and come onto your bottom. Let's get into some hip work. Love hip work. Let's first extend the legs. Open up your glutes so you feel your sit bones in the mat. Let's come into a nice long fold. Paschimottanasana. It's a big one, isn't it? Big name. Inhale, reach up to the ceiling. Exhale, forward fold. Of course, grabbing your calves, your ankles. You can use a strap or a towel around your feet. Lengthen through the spine, imagining your heart is lifting tall. And forward fold. I think this could be Chris's song, guys. Just gonna put it out there. Now you'll listen to the music, you won't listen to me. Resting here in your fold. Inhale, come back to sitting. Let's take the right foot in, Janu Shirshasana, bringing that heel as close as you can to your pelvis and your left leg coming out to the side a little bit. Sitting tall, feeling both your sit bones here. Inhale, lengthen, bring your hands to your heart center, and we're twisting towards that extended left leg, using the core strength in our body to twist gently. And then exhale, fold towards the leg before you grab it. Just to engage those muscles, squeeze your pelvic floor, and exhale, fold a little deeper if that feels good. Nice. This is a great stretch for your lower back, especially if you're carrying more weight on your front. So with your right hand, cross it over to the outer edge of that extended leg. And as you pull against that, you'll feel that really good stretch. So acknowledge those kind of areas that you can unlock a little further. Inhale, coming up. With this leg extended, let's have an open twist here, coming over your left leg. And if you are pregnant, don't twist deep, just hold here and feel tall with a twist. Otherwise, with me, take your right hand behind you and twist the spine. Looking over towards your right shoulder, feeling a deeper twist. This is probably not great if your organs are all bunched up at the moment. I wouldn't twist deep. So just adjust for yourself. Inhale back to center. And as you exhale, swap the legs over. Inhale, sit tall. Bring your hands to your heart center and exhale, gently twist towards the extended leg and fold. Inhale, coming up. Taking your right hand to the left thigh or the left knee. Don't have to twist too deep here, just sit tall, lengthen. And on your exhale, if you're able, twist a little deeper. Pulling against that knee will give you a lot more leverage to twist. Oh, feels great. Almost feels like someone's wringing out your body, you know, after all of those days in chairs or at your computer, running around doing errands. Oh, twist it out. Inhale back to center. Take both legs out nice and wide. Great. From here, if you feel like when you take your legs out, sometimes I feel like I'm folding in order to get my legs nice and wide. We're aiming for a really long spine. If you sit tall and your knees are coming up, just bring the knees in a little bit, adjust for yourself in your hips so you're not, straining here, all those hip flexor muscles. And take your hands maybe under your thighs, under your knees, or if you can, a little lower, as long as you can sit nice and straight. I'll try and show my spine from this side. So if you find you're nice and wide, you can see that my spine is really bent here. I'm gonna bring them in a little bit because it will give me access to sit tall, protecting my lumbar spine, protecting the lower back. Find yourself by gripping the inner thighs. Sit nice and tall, pull the heart upwards. Looking up towards the ceiling, lengthen here. And then exhale, fold by drawing your elbows outwards. Trying to keep the heart lifted and the spine tall. If you don't get far, that's fine. Otherwise, come all the way down. If it's easy for you, and bring your hands out in front of you. Fold here. Ujjayi breath. Inhale, rolling up. Bring the feet together. Maybe shake the legs here. It's quite intense on the hip flexors, so shake it out. And bring both knees up. A few balancing kind of poses before we get into our glute stretching. So sit nice and tall, holding onto the back of your thighs. If this is good for you, already by you sitting taller, you're engaging your core. Squeeze your pelvic floor muscles, and as you exhale, feel your ribs knitting together. Engage those transverse abdominis, all the inner parts here. Sit tall, keep the chest lifted, look forward. If this feels okay, take your hands out in front of you and just exhale, tuck the tailbone under. You can see that little tilt that I get. And just lean back a little bit, hold here. If it feels okay, great. Otherwise, you can come up a little further and just play with what range of strength and motion that you have. If it feels good, come back a little further. Almost that your fingertips are brushing by the sides of your knees. That's as far back as we go. Push the shoulders into the ears and breathe here. Again, adjust for yourself. If this is feeling shaky and strained, then sit up a little more. It's okay to adjust. Good. Breathe. And on your inhale, come back and hold onto your knees or your calves as you just release that on your spine. Options. So you know what that feels like. You can try it by taking your fingertips behind you, leaning back. You're supporting yourself here as you lift to engage the lower abdominis. So lift here, breathe, and draw your thighs in towards each other. They don't have to touch, but you want that drawing action to keep your knees in line with your hips. Breathe here. You can already feel your hip flexors working for you. You feel that fatigue. Breathe. And if that feels okay, join me by lifting your hands out in front of you. Great. Options is to take the feet down here and hold. Otherwise, we're going further. We're going to extend the left leg out and just heel tap. Woo! Bring that knee in. And other side, exhale, heel tap. Nice, Ramana. I can see that the leg work's looking great. 2 more sets. Exhale, heel tap. Inhale. Exhale. If you're taking a rest with your feet down, that's fine. Come back if you can. Inhale, bring the knee in. Again, exhale, extend. Inhale. Exhale, extend. Inhale. And then exhale, come back to the mat with your feet. Support yourself here. Baddha Konasana, bound angle, bring the feet together. Release the hip flexors and fold. If it feels nice to flap your wings like a butterfly, do that. And just relax the torso over. Try not to reach the ground, like reach towards the ground with your neck. Just relax everything over. Inhale, coming up. Offering a gentle twist here. You can sit here and breathe. Otherwise, take the right hand behind you, left hand to the right knee. You can pose like this. Otherwise, you can twist a little deeper. Pregnant ladies, I wouldn't twist deep. Just a little reminder there. Inhale back to center. Exhale, twist the other side. Inhale back to center. Bring your feet back in front. Extend the left leg, hands are behind you. Extend the left leg out straight. Feel that strength of that leg working. Take the left ankle on top of the right knee. And it's up to you how close you want to walk your chest in towards your thigh here. Again, you can always come back. That might feel like a good stretch just here supporting yourself. Otherwise, walk in. Woo. And you want to lift the spine straight. If you're like this, then take the leg out and then lift the heart up. So you can adjust for yourself wherever you can start to straighten your spine. And breathe here. So this is preparation for pigeon pose. If pigeon doesn't feel good or it's just too heavy in the pelvis, this is your go-to pose. So you can control how much stretch you get in the hips without putting your whole body weight on your hip joints, so you can adjust. From here, let's see if we can get a little bit of pretzel action going. Take your left hand, thread it through the legs, and hold on to the shin, your right shin. You can clasp your hands around it. If this feels okay, breathe here. Otherwise, clasping that leg, lift the right knee up. You can lift halfway. You can lift all the way. Come on, pretzels. Remember, I don't have a pregnant belly in the way, so if you're like, how? It's because you've got something there. Otherwise, holding here, breathe. And then if you can, extend and release. Ooh, feel the burn of that right leg. People are like, oh, 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 we've got this. And then take the legs down and just fold over that leg. Let it go, let it go. Maybe shake the legs out. Yeah. And then bring them back in. This time, extend the right leg out. Bring your hands into position. Right leg is already fatigued, but stretch it out tall, and then take the right ankle on top of that left leg. It's a completely different stretch, right? We've been doing all of the hip flexors, and now to have the glute being stretched, it's so good. So your whole hip joints getting this rotational massage. It's really, really healthy for the joints. Again, especially if you sit a lot in your job or in your day. So push the spine tall, looking up to the ceiling, opening your heart. Breathe here. Enjoy the tunes, the headspace, the giggles. More giggles to come. When you're ready, thread the needle, right hand through and find your shin and pull yourself tall. You might even get a deeper hip stretch here. You can stay here or join me by holding onto that leg and extending it strong and tall. As you exhale, squeeze your pelvic floor and feel the movement or the strain, not the strain, the effort of your lower core. As you stabilize, as you pull those legs towards your chest. Spread the toes, breathe. And if you're able, release the hands, hold, breathe, fire it up, and take the legs down. Oh yeah. Release the legs, shake them out. Nice, 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 nice. Just gonna check the time. Okay, cool. All right, final strength work. Let's meet in downward facing dog. We're gonna come back to those lunges and open up into some warrior poses. So get a little bit strong and then we'll finish our practice. So when you're ready, coming into plank, inhale in your plank, exhale to downward facing dog. Good. Nice and long through those hamstrings again. Find the alignment of your spine, your shoulders, your tailbone up and lifted to the sky as you push back. Deep inhales, smooth exhales. Option is to just stay in downward dog. Otherwise, inhale, raise the right leg, three-legged dog. Exhale, bring it through to a high lunge. So we keep the back heel lifted, we strengthen that back leg, and just check in that your ankle is under your knee, okay? At any point you can drop the back knee, that's okay. Otherwise, come here into your full lunge. Option is to also have a chair here, but I'm gonna get that in a second. When you're ready, inhale, lift up and balance into your high lunge warrior. Breathe. Bring your hands to your hips on your exhale, balance. Look forward, we're gonna take the back leg and step it to the front of the mat. So as careful as you can, step your foot to the front. Nice. And we're gonna practice that transition because it's really good stabilizing strength work. So inhale, lift the hands up, lift tall. Lift the leg out in front of you, that left knee, single leg stance, and slowly take it back to your high lunge. Find it there, breathe and balance. And then exhale, take the hands back to lunge and step back to downward facing dog. Take some gentle breaths here. Bring the feet together. If you're coming into three-legged dog, inhale, raise the left leg up to the sky if that's what you're doing. Look to the hands, exhale, come into a full lunge. And as you land the foot, adjust the ankle to keep in line and put strength in that back leg. Really straighten that back leg. When you're ready, inhale, warrior. Breathe here and take your hands to your hips. I have a sinister looking spider crawling on my couch, guys. I'm very distracted. Okay, I'm gonna check it out in a second. When you're ready, we're gonna come forward as careful as we can. Place the foot at the top of the mat. Exhale, lift that foot carefully and place it slowly down. Nice, that was beautiful control. Inhale here, lengthen the body. Oh my gosh, it's a scary spider, guys. It's small, but it looks sinister. Australia. Woo. Inhale, lift your hands up and raise the right leg up. I think it was right leg back, right? Lift it up, find your balance, and when you're ready, exhale, take it back into your full lunge warrior, nice and controlled. Great work, you landed it. Exhale, take the hands down to the mat. Step back for downward facing dog. Inhale here. Exhale, take the knees down to the ground and come back to your knees. Chair time. Find your chair if you have it. Again, if you don't have a chair, you don't have to have it, but I think I'm gonna introduce that anyway. So place your chair at the top of your mat. Yeah, and I'm going to use the back of it. It's a little bit higher for me. And I'm going to make sure I have some space here. Okay. Great. Get that into position. Get in position for some crazy pose that I'm going to try. Not too crazy, I promise. When you're ready, downward facing dog, everybody. Coming into downward dog. Option, raise the right leg up, three-legged dog. And when you feel ready, bring it through to your high lunge warrior. So placing that foot, find your alignment and just take your time. Get your balance. The chair is there now, so that's kind of assuring. And when you're ready, lift up into your warrior one. Nice and tall. Bring your hands to your hips as you exhale. Inhale, let's bring this leg forward into a single leg stance, and you can use the chair here to catch you as you lift. Good, nice. Lift the hands up, lifting tall. Exhale, take the hands to the chair. I need a little more room in front of me, so I'm just gonna step back a little bit more as I lift up here. And then as I push back, I'm gonna come into a warrior three, and I'm using the chair to balance. So I'm balancing here. You want your hip points to face down to the mat, and you can use the chair to kind of balance and hold your posture. Put strength in the right leg. You want to straighten and strengthen that back leg as you balance and use your core with that extended leg behind you. Breathe here. Another option is you can take your hands here and really bow into a forward fold, kind of lengthening into that. Your leg would be fatiguing. And on your next exhale, bring the left leg back to a single leg stance and try and balance off the chair. If you want, bring your hands to your hips, exhale, and take the leg behind you into your warrior. Inhale, raise on up. Exhale, hands come down and step back into downward facing dog. Good. A little bit more movement. Take a deep breath in. Smoothly exhale. When you're ready, lifting the left leg up if you wish, and place the left foot into your lunge. Low lunge options, modify for yourself here. When you're ready, inhale, come up into warrior one, high lunge warrior. Exhale, hands come to your hips. Good. Looking to that chair, and when you're ready, bring your knee in front into a single leg stance, holding the chair if you want to. Otherwise, you don't need to. That's great. Again, you can use the chair, but if you're not gonna use a chair, I'm gonna show you how I do. So instead, as we exhale, take the right leg behind us into warrior three. Balancing here, lifting energy in that left leg. Squaring your hip points facing down. Breathe. Option is to stay here or forward fold to a single leg split. So you're taking your hands down and raising your leg a little higher. So it's a lot more intensity in the stretch and on the hamstring. And if that feels good, while you're balancing, see if you can take your right hand on the back of your left calf and balance by bringing both hands to that foot on the floor as you fold. It's taking all my core strength, all my leg strength. Release the hands, and using the strength of the body, come back up, bring your hands to your hips into a single leg stance. And breathe. Good job, guys. On your next exhale, that front raised leg comes behind you, warrior one. Inhale, lift. Exhale, take the hands down to your lunge and step back. Adho Mukha Svanasana. A few breaths here. Side out through the mouth. Inhale deeply. And side out through the mouth. Good. Come down to your knees. Sitting on your heels or sitting on the side. And just catch yourself here for a moment. And just sit with yourself, bringing your hands to your thighs. Feel the heat in your body. Feel what your hips are doing, backs of your legs. Last big push with our hips, coming into pigeon poses to finish. So come into table pose. Again, if this pose doesn't feel good, you can sit back and do that 4-angle pose we were doing before. I'll get there. Otherwise, take the right leg and bring it behind your wrists so that you can sit down into your pigeon pose. Option is to grab a pillow if pigeon feels intense and put that between or underneath you, and sit on your pillow. It's great. So get groovy with your props to really give yourself a sense of, space, modify. Honestly, I feel like I'm riding my cushion. Anyway, sitting tall, feeling good. If it feels okay here, stretching, lengthening. If this pose just is not your cup of tea and it's not working, that option like before is to put the right leg on top and stretch like this. So you just modify, okay? If this pigeon feels good for you, I invite you to exhale and forward fold to your elbows. Or take your chest all the way down to the ground, relax forward. About 5 breaths here, holding our pigeon. Softening the body. On your next inhale, bring yourself back up onto your hands. Curl the back toes under and lift up, pull up through the hands, coming back to table pose. If you're on your bottom, then just swap your legs over. Otherwise, this time take the left leg behind the wrists into that kind of angle. You can bring the heel a little closer towards you so it's not so 90-degree angle. I'm just trying to, if people are wondering. So this is kind of the angle here, but you can bring that heel closer. You want your hip points to face neutral. You don't want to be leaning out. You want to have that hip point facing in. So just think of that alignment there in pigeon. Again, cushions, depending, this side might be tighter, so tuck that cushion in, or a block or a towel, and find your pose, sitting tall in the posture. And if it feels good, folding forward to your elbows or all the way down. A few breaths here. Every exhale, imagine your body softening, allowing the weight to stretch you a little deeper. On your next inhale, bring yourself back up. Push up through the hands, back toes curl under, lift and come into table pose. And then lift all the way up on your knees, stretch up to the ceiling, open the body, embrace the stretch, lean back if that feels good. And then come back onto your knees, sitting down here. Beautiful. Let's do our final twist. So we're going to bring our body sitting on our left hip, legs coming out to the side. And you'll notice that my foot is on top of the inner arch of the bottom foot. I feel like a little princess when I sit like this, but it's a really nice stretch. So relaxing here in this side seat, sit taller in your posture, and you'll notice your body already wants to start twisting. Adjust your twist for yourself. You don't have to pull tight if you're pregnant. Otherwise, bring your right hand to your left knee if you're on your left hip. Hand comes behind you, and then just gently open the body and twist here. It's a much safer twist. It's a open twist, so it's not as pulling that spine around. So just twist here. Feel that stretch through the left hip. Looking over towards your left shoulder. Breathe. And while you're here, take your gaze over your right shoulder in the twist. Just feel that nice stretch through the neck. It's very much like you're model posing here. I definitely feel like I'm a sculpture. Do I look like a sculpture? Find your pose and take your time. And gently release the twist back to the front and swap the legs over. Sitting tall in your spine first, And then exhale to the right as you twist, taking your gaze over the right shoulder. Take your gaze over the left shoulder while keeping in the twist, stretching through the neck and the shoulders. And then release the twist altogether. Beautiful. Let's come onto our backs. Slowly control, support yourself down. And when you get there, stretch your arms tall over your head. Pull up through the armpits, point the toes. Expand your chest with your deep breath, filling the lungs. And then exhale, find your Shavasana, relaxing your heels a little wider than your hips. Allowing your feet to kind of go floppy here. And just finally closing your eyes if you haven't done so. Taking the rest and the time to disappear in this practice, to disconnect from thoughts. And a really helpful way of doing that is focusing on your inhale and your exhale. As you inhale, you feel the air pulling into your body like waves rolling onto the shore. And sigh it out through your mouth as you exhale, slowly feeling your body sink a little deeper on your mat. Waves rolling out to the ocean. Inhaling those waves rolling into the body. And as you exhale, rolling back to the sea. I would love to keep us here in Shavasana. And if you feel good here, then feel free to mute your audio or sign out of Zoom. Otherwise, come with me with your breath, consciously breathing in a little deeper and feeling your chest expand. Sighing it out through your mouth, feeling your chest fall. Inhaling deeply. And maybe even vocalizing that exhale as you sigh it out. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale, take your hands above your head. And just come into that nice little sleepy stretch as you raise your hands up. Pulling up through the armpits, pointing the toes. And then letting your hands get floppy and your elbows relax above you. Just roll out your ankles in one direction, swapping them over in the other direction. Maybe opening your eyes up, staring up at the sky or your ceiling with a smile of gratitude for this beautiful life and the chance that we get to live in it. What a wonder it is to exist, and how lucky that we are. And with that thankfulness in your mind, I invite you to gently roll onto one side if you're not there yet. And bring yourself up back to a seated position, taking care, taking sloth-like motions in the body. Finding your sense of space again. And if your legs are crossed one way, I always have them one way. I invite you to swap them over, change it up, and sit a little taller. Let all your air out on the exhale. Let's take a deep breath in together. Inhale, reach your arms up to the ceiling. Hold your breath at the top. Feel your lungs expand, that stretch through the ribs. And out through the mouth, side out, bring your hands by your sides. Bring your hands to your heart center. This practice is from India. It's beautiful, it's ancient. We say namaste as a greeting, as an acknowledgement, bowing of respect to each other. Thank you for the pleasure of your company, guys. Namaste. Thank you for joining me. Have a beautiful week.